more, doing the inner work. It's introspective. It's deep thinking music, but it's him really motivating you with this journey on reflection. Then you take all of that goodness that you learned about reflecting and you use it to respond. So the respond is like what we call kind of like war music. Like when you're ready to go to war, that music that you listen to that's going to get you going, right? Pre-game music. So we respond, and then when you're done responding, you have to recover. So then that music's going to be a little bit more chill, a little more zened out garden music, if you will. And then we go into the last album, which is called Reborn. And that's where we celebrate like this whole process of reflecting, responding, and recovering. And you celebrate all that work, and then you do it all over again. So it's been kind of neat, and we've been getting a lot of good feedback on the music itself.
The music is really good. There's some of the titles are like Destination and Exploration and Devotion. Are you playing all the music on these albums? Are you all both doing that, or did you bring in some other instrumentalists to do that?
So I did. All the music is probably like 92 to 95% of the music is me. One of my closest friends, we used to be in a band together. He's an engineer, and he's also an incredible musician. He's helped me on a few songs, but he's done all the mastering and the mixing of each song. His name's Aaron Cabral. He's just incredible at what he does. And then all the music, like all the vocals, all the meditations, it's Graham. And what people don't know is that Graham doesn't write it down at all. So we sit there, this is kind of a cool little thing that we do. We talk about the theme of the song. We talk about like bullet words, like words that are like that he wants to remember and use them throughout the meditation. And we just sit there and we just explore the theme of the song. And then when we're done, we say a prayer. Like we call God to bring us the energy, bring us the words. If he says stuff like, if I fumble, I fumble. But if I hit it, I hit it. Like, let's just give me all the glory to God right now. And it's kind of this like thing, like he's so motivational that like this prayer becomes like, oh, like I feel like I'm about to like go and perform, because when he's done, he's like, let's go. I'm ready. And so like there's this intensity, right? And he just nails it. And it's the reason why he nails it because he just lets all the energy flow. But he spent 15 to 20 years, all this language that he's been perfecting, it just comes out naturally. So he's just done the reps. Like he's done the rep. So people ask him all the time, they're like, hey, do you write this stuff down? He goes, no, not at all. I just go. I just make it up.
That's so cool. That is really, really cool. That's I love it. It's a really good thing. So just for the sake of time here, I'm just going to read through a few of these other ones, and I'll see if there's any one that sticks out you wanted to add some commentary on, because I do have a couple other questions for you. So training the subconscious mind, releasing your inner warrior, applying grit for overcoming adversity, and then assuming a leadership role, and then owning the it factor is that last best practice. So any of those that you want to add some commentary to?
Yeah, I think train the subconscious mind. A lot of people, when they hear that word like subconscious mind or the unconscious mind, at first it's like people are like, especially when you're dealing with younger athletes, like, what does that mean? And that's where when we're doing all the reps of anything mentally or physically, we're training it, the subconscious or the unconscious mind. So we have two minds that we play with every day. And so I always like when I start to talk to people about like athletes about what is the subconscious mind, I always ask them, like, have you ever been in your car, like you're driving down the freeway for whatever reason for a couple minutes or for a couple miles, you don't remember at all lane changing, you don't remember, but you for some reason like you're safe and you got down the freeway, or you leave high school and you go home or you go to a grocery store and you're like, whoa, I didn't even think about like, how did that happen? Because I didn't even think about how did I get here, right? It's because you've done it so many times and that you trust. Like that's the reps. You gain this confidence in your decision making. So when you do something enough times, then you're training the subconscious, and so you're not thinking about it, you're just doing it. And that's what we want to get as athletes, right? We don't want to overthink and overanalyze. We just want to do. We want to get into flow. And so the more you can train that subconscious mind, the faster you can get into the zone or flow.
Yeah, we talked about this on our podcast on Tuesdays. Dr. Rob Gilbert has 4 stages of learning, and that last stage is unconscious competence. And it's the same thing there. It's just, you've done it so many times, you don't have to think about it. You just do it. What a great place to be as an athlete, or really even as a business person, to be honest with you. I mean, we've all been there as far as that goes. So, Grant, I have a question for you, because you work with a lot of different levels, high school athletes, college athletes, professionals, Olympians, and business people alike. Have you noticed that there's a common theme that tends to come up as one of the more pressing issues for most of them? I mean, is it confidence? Is it dealing with pressure? I mean, what is that commonality among all of those?
Yeah, I think the two that come up that I see a lot is confidence, and also fear of failure, fear of failing. So that's why, to me, I love tackling those things, because people, when you think about confidence, people, and this is a general statement, but they think confidence is a feeling. Like sometimes they're waiting for something good to happen so they can feel confident. It's like, no. Like it is a feeling, like feeling confident. Like, we know it feels great when we're feeling confident, but before you perform, there's things you can do within your control to act into your confidence, to act into your role, right? When you think of Meryl Streep, like, how many movies has she done in her life and done them well? Hundreds of different roles. So she's had to act into her confidence into that role to sell us that she's being a completely different person. And so when you think about confidence, we have to act into it before we can feel confident. And so when I think about confidence, I love sharing that process and teaching people the things that you get to do to act into, so you can get confident. And when you lose your confidence, in a moment's notice, you can actually train yourself to get right back into it. And so I hear that a lot. And I also hear the fear of failure. A lot of times it's, again, having them to understand, like, what does failure mean to you? Like, does it mean a mistake? Does it mean not showing up, not trying? Does it mean that you don't get the scholarship? Like, whatever it is, it's like you have to understand first with the athlete, what does failure mean, right? So, and then what is your relationship with failure? What's your relationship with success? Because on the other side of failure is success. And there's an emotional roller coaster ride that if you don't actually manage how you deal with failure and success, man, you're going to be on this ride it's going to lead you to burnout. So,
yeah, I thought it was interesting when you were talking earlier about backups coming into games, is immediately it seems like their mind always goes right to situations and right to outcomes of those situations. Like, yes, it is the bases loaded. Yes, it is the fourth quarter and time's running down or whatever. What if I do this? What if I do that? Right? Like they automatically go to this place of negativity. Depending on where it is. Some of them, if they followed these next, the next one up mentality, they're probably going to have a little bit of a better approach to that. But because there is a way that you can come into that game, get that breath, concentrate on getting in the moment, right? And not being so focused on what might happen, but really just dialing into what is happening in that situation.
100%. And that fear, I think we've all heard the acronym of fear. It's false evidence appearing real. So we create this story of like the fear. It's just an illusion, and it's in the future. It hasn't even happened yet. Right. So it's false evidence that you created. So if you created it, no one created that evidence. You did. So you can actually remove it. So the other side of fear. So instead of having false evidence, I love the other acronym is face everything and rise. So that's fear. So if you have a good relationship with fear, it's not so you see it, you're like, I'm gonna lean right into it. I'm gonna rise up, instead of like creating this story and creating the false evidence that's going to stop you in the moment or not allow you to position yourself to be the best in the moment. So it's just, again, like creating an environment for athletes or performers to have a different relationship with failure.
Yeah. And understanding that everybody has the same emotions, the same feelings in those moments. I mean, you hear all of the greats. I mean, whether it's a professional athlete, whether it's a professional musician or somebody like that, they all get nervous right before it's that critical time, those pressure moments. I always say, pressure is a good thing. It means something. It means there's something on the line. It's you're playing for something. Too often we've created this, pressure. We kind of, shy away from that. But if you're playing in games where there's not a lot of pressure, those aren't very fun games to play in, right? I mean, you're not really playing for a whole lot. So be careful what you ask for there if you don't want pressure in games. So Grant, I know that you not only is the mindset music, but you also have another project coming up that you're excited about. Can't really get into a lot of details on this, but is there anything you can kind of tease us with as far as what you may be working on here?
Yeah. So there's a couple projects that I'm going to be working with a startup sports network. And there's going to be one project that I'm going to be doing some sports psychology stuff with. And then also Graham and I are going to do another project with the network as well. So, and there could be another TV show that we're going to be talking about. But right now it's like, with the music and with these projects, man, it's really exciting. It's just, it's really cool to like go through the pandemic and go through all the highs and lows of it. And then now we're coming out of it, like seeing, like staying connected to our craft, myself, Graham, and seeing things come to fruition. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, going back to what I said about being the author of your own story, you would definitely be somebody who would say, hey, I did all of this in spite of COVID, right? In spite of the pandemic, I was able to accomplish these things because you're out there doing it. So folks, you can find Grant on Instagram and Twitter at GFP Mindset, all one word at GFP Mindset. And then as Grant mentioned earlier, the website's www.gamefaceperformance.com, where you can have him come and work with your team. If you're a business person, you can have him work with your company, doing keynote addresses, all sorts of different packages that he offers there, whether it's just one-on-one counseling, all of the different things that you have available. Find out what fits you and your particular needs. So, Grant, we can't thank you enough. It's been a pleasure. We've really enjoyed, as I told you through some of the messages we shared, we've really enjoyed your content and what you're bringing to the game of mental performance and just helping all the athletes and clients that you're out there helping. So keep up all the great stuff you're doing.
Awesome. Well, thanks, John. Thanks, Brandon. It was a pleasure. I love talking shop, and I really enjoyed it.
All right. Sounds good. Come back anytime. Thanks, Grant.
Absolutely.
Want to provide feedback or stay up to date with the show? Visit our Instagram page at Mental Advantage Podcast, or you can send us an email at podcast@mentaladvantage.net. To have John Cullen work with you or your team, please write to him at john.cullen@mentaladvantage.net. Thanks for listening to today's episode.